Hello, everybody. Welcome to the On Call Coaches podcast, where we take a deep dive into the world of amateur sports, video training, player development, and one-on-one coaching. I'm your I'm your host, Coach Switz. And
I'm Coach Zane.
Coach Zane, nice to see you today. How are we doing?
Awesome. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Excited to talk to you today. I want to talk about what's been going on with on-call coaches, the program, and the actual marketplace today. Tell me some new things that we've been doing in the background.
Awesome. Yeah, in the background, the big thing we're working on right now is being able to allow downloads for the players. So after the player sends in a video to the coach reviews it, sends it back to the player. Right now, it stays in their inbox for 30 days for the player to review, but we're now going to allow those players to download that video.
Oh, nice.
So that they can keep it, on their computer or phones or whatever it may be, so they can continue to watch it past those 30 days. So that was really good feedback from our clients.
When do you think that'll be complete, you think?
In the next week or two.
Nice.
We're working hard on that. Also working on some new tools. Again, getting feedback from the coaches to add more tools. We always want to continue to expand and make the product the best as possible. So it is a learning process, and we're continuing to work on it. But that's where we're at right now.
Anything else going on in the IT department? I heard we might have updated the algorithm finally to get a little better coaching displays.
Yeah. When we first released, Google didn't like us, and so we, after hours on the phone with Google and their departments, and we're finally listed. Google likes us. We're listed. We're searchable. So that was something that definitely held us back a little bit at the beginning, but we've been able to figure that out, work with Google, and everybody's working together now, so we're good.
Now, what did you and IT John decide about the algorithm and how we were going to rate coaches? Can you give a little background on how that's going to go?
Good. Yeah. So we've changed our algorithms now. So coaches with 5 stars are rising to the top. Coaches that get more clicks, that's the secondary. So if there's 2 5-star coaches, the one who's had more people visiting their profile rise to the top. So at the end of the day, the goal is to make sure that the players can find the best coaches and use them on our site the easiest way possible.
Coaches are up top, hopefully.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Perfect. Now, our guest today, she's actually made some suggestions before. She's the one who requested that we allow background audio through to the video, which in hockey is not important, but in her sport it is very important. But I'm extra excited about our next guest. She started her on-ice playing career in hockey as well as figure skating at the age of 3. She trained as an Olympic ice dancer, passed 3 tests with her Italian partner. She was the 3rd skater to pass the Finstep ice dance. She coached Team USA. She's now based out of KC Mo, where she's the director of KC Momentum. She's my co-host sister, our original on-ice floor tester at the original St. Louis hockey skating and figure skating. Ladies and gentlemen, Kameryn Furman. How you doing, Cam?
Doing well. How are you guys?
I'm doing great. Everybody, this is Coach Zane's sister.
Hey, Cam. How's it going? Good to see you.
You too.
Now, first I want to start with a little bit about you guys. How big an age gap do you have? Are you older, younger? Where are we going with that? Are you guys similar?
So we've got an 8-year age gap between myself and Zane. So as you can tell, I'm the younger sibling.
Obviously.
I've got 8 years. But no, so it's always been fun to kind of follow in Zane's footsteps in ice sports, and he was my inspiration for getting into figure skating and hockey.
I like it. Now, Zane wants me to ask about your first figure skating competition. He says we might have a funny story about it.
Yeah, so I was 3, and I was on the ice with not 3-year-olds. It was I do synchronized skating primarily, so it's a team of 8 to 20 athletes all doing a program together. So there's probably 12 of us that were out there, and they're pulling me around because I'm 3 and they're 8 years old, right? And I get pulled down, and a girl barely nicks my finger with her skate. And you guys are in ice sports, you know that it's not a gaping wound or anything. It's just a tiny little cut on my finger. And so I cry the whole time. I hold my finger. I get off the ice. I go to my coach. I won't let anyone touch it. I completely ruin the entire routine. And then at the very end of the competition program, I just hit the ending pose with everyone else. and get off, and then you can hear me in the video go, I had so much fun. I loved that.
After crying
It's the most ridiculous video.
I was mortified.
Why were you mortified?
My father. Just nerve-wracking. You want your best for your little sister, and she,
first competition.
She cried.
Nervified.
She skated over to the coach, I think once or twice during it. What was that coach's name, Cam?
Coach Sally.
Coach Sally, and she was a legend here in St. Louis. And she skated over to Coach Sally, sent her back out, skated over, sent her back out, and at the end, that pose. And that's when the whole family knew. Okay, she's gonna be in figure skating, and she's gonna be in the spotlight. She loved that.
Too bad we don't have the photos that we have today of the quick draw with the camera. We'd have probably pretty good.
I have it on camera.
Oh, we should. We might have to add that. To the podcast.
We might have to
pull that picture.
We would have to find it, but yes, no, she nailed the ending and had a blast, but. No lasting effects for her, but myself and my father watching her from then on was like, don't fall. We were more nervous than she was for competitions.
Now, Cam, you had a huge biography that I went through before, and you're big in the synchro world. First, I want to make sure I got everything right on your biography. So if I messed anything up, let me hear about it right now. Let's start there.
Yeah. So. While I would love to have trained as an Olympian, synchronized skating is actually not an Olympic sport. It's only up through the world level. And so I trained with some Olympians on the ice dance side. And then the Italian ice dance Olympian, his name is Massimo Scali. Way back when, he was my partner for taking me through a couple of my tests. So I was very lucky to train with Olympians. And then in synchronized skating, the highest that you can go is to be Team USA or a world team. And so I was on the team that qualified at St. Louis Synergy to become a Team USA team in the junior division my freshman year of college. And then I aged off of that team and was lucky enough to be a coach, one of the coaching staff for that team for the next 2 years as they represented the United States as Team USA.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I apologize for getting that messed up. I'm not versed in the figure skating side. I'm good on the hockey side, but I'm not sure how that all falls in on the figure skating side. So thanks for clearing that up. So now, knowing all those accomplishments, which one would you put as your top? Which one are you most proud of, I guess I'd say?
Oh, man. So I'm very proud to be Team USA as a coach, very proud to have all of that. But since I've moved to Kansas City, so I graduated college at Washington University in St. Louis with a mechanical engineering degree. Moved to Kansas City, I worked full-time as a mechanical engineer, and I direct the Kansas City Momentum, KC Momentum synchronized skating program here. Mm-hmm. And we had a team 2 years ago. They're a master's level, so that means that it's the oldest age bracket that's able to qualify for nationals inside of United States figure skating. The full team has to be over the age of 25, and then the majority of the team has to be over age 30. So our team ranged in age from 25 to 60 years old.
So that's an adult team.
What?
That's an adult team.
It's an adult team.
Okay,
yep.
cool. Yeah,
adult really cool. Masters level. And there were only 2 of us on that team that had ever been to nationals before. And that team qualified for nationals and won a national medal their first year in that division.
That's awesome.
And so while there's things that maybe have more accolades, that was the more special moment of watching an entire team of athletes that have trained their whole lives in this sport finally make their goal happen.
That's got to be so satisfying. Like, as you said, just watching people finally make it to the pinnacle and actually just reach their goal. That's got to be so rewarding, just seeing it as a part of their journey to get there.
And you coached that team and skated on that. Is that correct, Cam?
I do. So I coach that team and direct the program. And then I also am an athlete on that team and our team that's one level higher, one level younger than that group. So I was with that team and then that team after medaling at nationals.
Daryl Duran, do you remember that from the ambush?
Player coach over here. I like it. So you're a national champion.
National medalist. Yep.
Yeah,
Two-time national medalist
really
in my day. Twice with a bronze medal and once with a pewter medal.
That's awesome. Now, in your time representing Team USA or coaching, were you coaching, right? You were coaching at the time.
It's still considered being on Team USA as a coach.
What is it like
language
when
is
you
fine.
go international representing the USA? What's the? I've never done that personally, so tell me a little bit about what you feel like going over there, representing the home country.
Oh, it's amazing. Putting the flag on your body, on a jacket, and getting to wear that both around the city that you're in for the competition. So both of ours were in Salzburg, Austria. So getting to wear that kind of around the town as you're looking around at Team Australia and Team New Zealand and Team China and all of these other teams that are around representing their country, it's really amazing. And it's what I assume is the closest that synchronized skating gets to an Olympic village, right? Where you look around and you see everybody. And then when you're there, Team USA, they send you with U.S. doctors and U.S. judges and officials, and you've kind of got this whole pack with you as you represent the United States, and it's an amazing feeling.
Yeah, it sounds like you got a whole gang traveling with you.
Yep.
Now, so you're going over there, and you're in these quote unquote maybe not Olympic villages, but feels like it. Now, do you mix with the other teams, and like do you talk to the other teams, or like because I played in hockey, we have the Pee Wee Quebec. It's not like I don't represent USA, I represent St. Louis. But when we were there, like we trade pins. Every team has a pin from has a little bit about St. Louis and a USA. It's an international tournament, but do you guys have anything like that on your side or?
Yeah, so the tradition is so in synchronized skating, you typically wear your hair in a bun on the back of your head, and you have your flag on toothpicks, and you stick your flag in people's buns as they go by. So as
like
you're
walking
flag,
through, like a little
you
mini
look
flag?
around.
Like a little cupcake flag type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. The little cupcake flags, and you stick those into people's buns as they walk by and try and get them to not notice. And so your team at the end of the day pulls all of these flags out from people, and some will say good luck on the bottom of it or something like that.
A little message they wrote.
Oh, that's
really
cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. All right, now I want to bring it back to kind of what was it like growing up with Coach Zane? As he was 8 years older, so I'm sure it sounds like you looked up to him as he was growing up. What was it like? I guess we'll start with what was it like living with Coach Zane?
So with an 8-year age difference, and then obviously him being a boy and me being a girl, there was no physical sibling rivalry, but man, he could outsmart me on everything through our childhood, and it was a pain in the butt.
I bet. Same here.
So, but other than that, I mean, it was wonderful to have somebody who was also a high level athlete in their sport, kind of leading the charge in the house as for getting us used to early morning practice times and high dedication and high time commitment to a specific sport. And it really paved the way for me to be able to continue that on my side. The other thing that was interesting was Zane, I'm sure people know this already, but he has a black belt, right? And so he was very high level in another sport beyond hockey. And so being able to specialize in two sports, kind of how I did with skating and with hockey for a period of time, and then also be able to make the hard decision at some point to say, if I want to be exceptional at one of these, I have to focus on one of the two. So watching him make that decision when he was aged, what was it, Zane, 10?
Something like 12, that? 13, yeah. It was a little 12, bit later. 13. Yeah, but yeah, making that decision of hockey, karate, and what I was going to do and really focus and, yeah.
And believe it or not, Zane does not brag about his black belt in karate. I think I'm the only person who might know that, is because our first facility was where next to the place he trained to be a black belt in karate. He hides that, so I appreciate you got that on there. We might have to
sneak that in there
belt
for you.
To his side or on his shelf behind him. That's great. Now, living with him now? He's a clean person, or is that bathroom disgusting? And you're happy you're not sharing a bathroom with him anymore?
Definitely happy I'm not sharing a bathroom.
I got the bathroom in the house. My bedroom had the bathroom attached to it, so I had my own bathroom. She had the other room until as soon as I left the house,
she took it over.
Well, I think 6 hours she was moved in, and took over that room as soon as I went off to college. So yeah,
I was scoping it out, and I changed everything about that room except when he was probably 10. He threw one of those like sticky things up onto the ceiling.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
yeah, the little hands.
It was the
ninja.
ninja. It was the ninja that has 2 hands and 2 feet that are sticky. Or was it a butterfly?
Probably a butterfly.
It was a butterfly.
I think it was the butterfly, actually.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think that when we moved out of the house, like when I went to college, I think that butterfly was still there.
100%.
Like, it was like the staple where I'm like,
for the next owners.
in remembrance of Zane.
Yeah,
we'll leave the butterfly.
I had to get the paint scraper out when the parents sold the house, and get it off the roof. But yeah, it was probably up there for 12 years, stuck to the ceiling.
Now, Coach Zane's a natural coach now. When you were a kid, was he bossing you around, telling you he was coaching you, you got to do what he says all the time, or how'd that go as a kid?
He would come to our hockey practices and baseball practice, or softball, I guess, when I was younger. And so it was nice to have him naturally kind of step into a coaching role. And I think with the 8-year age gap, you naturally listen to your older sibling, especially when you recognize that they're better at that sport than you are. So it was nice to have him as a coach. But then as soon as we would like get in the car afterwards and he'd give me feedback, I'm like, okay, now we're done.
No more, coach. I don't want to hear you anymore. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Now, Coach Zane was 8 years older, so you probably saw him and remember a lot of high school Coach Zane. Is that right?
Yes.
Now, I know Coach Zane doesn't get in trouble much. He's a smarter, as you said, the big brain. Tell me, what's a good story where Coach Zane got in trouble a little bit that he probably doesn't want shared right now? Yeah, that's a good one, right? Yeah, you got a good one. Come on now, hit us with one.
I do. So Zane took his own braces off.
Oh, perfect.
Pretty sure twice.
Yep, that is very true. Once in the penalty box.
Pricey.
Once was in the
really?
penalty box after a fighting major, and the wire was sticking through my lip, and so I grabbed the needle nose pliers that were in there and popped them off. And
it's not a good sign for the fight, though.
No. And handed them back to the orthodontist. I think that was the last time we ever spoke.
Did you go back to karate lessons?
I should have. But yeah, it happened twice. Once they put them back on.
Thanks for sharing that. That was a pricey. I'm sure Mom was not happy.
No, nobody was.
Yeah, I only got 4 brackets when I got braces, and I'm pretty sure it was from their, PTSD from him taking his own off, and they're like, well, you can't do more damage than that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Now that you're both coaching, do you guys ever bounce ideas off each other? Do you guys, like you're a skating coach. I'm always bouncing skating stuff off of Coach Zane. Do you guys do the same thing, or how does that work?
I think that especially with on-call coaching, we've had more collaboration around that. Zane being able to kind of see some of the videos that I've done for folks as I'm doing video reviews, and then us being able to talk more about, hey, here's how coaching looks in skating versus here's how coaching looks in hockey. I think we've been able to collaborate a lot more since then.
Nice.
And then a lot of what we talk about is maybe less on the athlete development and more on the personal development.
Oh, okay.
Athletes,
coaching
right?
a athlete.
That's something that's pretty universal.
Yeah. Now, in figure skating, has it been normal to use video a lot for coaching? Is that something that's been around for a while, or is this new to the coaching world on that side?
So it's pretty new since COVID.
Okay.
So we've seen a lot of virtual lessons that have started ever since COVID happened. So you'll now see coaches sitting on video chat around the rink during ice times, giving virtual lessons to athletes. We see a lot more video review, and then I'm sure hockey, you guys are the reason that this has happened, right? But we've seen a huge uptick in live barn utilization.
Yeah. That's been
and so
big.
that's made it really nice for skating, where you don't have to have the forethought to say, I need to video this to be able to send it to my coach. You can go in after the fact and grab the video from live barn and send it.
Now, since it's new and you've actually had a little more time with the training via video, are you seeing that it helps the players? Where do you compare it to like an on-ice lesson compared to like a video lesson? What are the differences that you're teaching in the on-ice compared to the video lesson?
Yeah, so in on-ice lesson, put people into physical positions, right? So in skating, it's a performance-based sport, and so there's a lot of, hey, your free leg when it's in the air needs to be here. Your knee bend on your skating leg needs to be this deep, and you can physically move them into that. But that's only one way of learning, right? We've got audio, we've got visual, and then we've got kinesthetic. Where in video you lose the kinesthetic, I think it's forcing coaches to be more creative on the audio and on the visual
more
side.
Descriptive. Now
you have to get more descriptive, and you have to be able to show it.
Yeah, definitely. Now, kind of walk me through how you might analyze a skater's technique on video. Like, I know when I'm doing a hockey skater and we're looking at a stride, I'm checking, are your shoulders up, what are your arms doing, things like that. Is it still the same principles, balance, hands, the same things that throw us off? Do they throw figure skaters off?
Yeah, it's a lot of that. So I like to think of skating as a pyramid that you're trying to grow as you go upward. And on my end right now, the video is a little bit laggy, so I'm not sure if you guys can see me in real time. But
yeah, we're a little laggy on this
end
too.
The lowest piece.
Audio's clear though.
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. So you imagine your base of your pyramid, and the wider that you can build that base, then the taller that you can make your pyramid. And that's the same thing with skills. And so the first thing that we're looking for through these video reviews is, are your basics good? Do you have your knee aligned with your toe when you're bending your knee correctly so that you can get a good push when you go to gain power? Do you have your shoulders over your hips, over your heels, so that you have a good body position? And we're really looking at those strong foundational basics of being able to skate well, followed by, okay, now does it look good? So now we're going to talk about, what does the body positioning actually look like to a judge or to somebody who's reviewing from the outside? And then in figure skating, it's called being callable. So you have a technical group that's judging you as you skate that says, yes, you did all of the requirements to qualify the skill that you were trying to showcase as correct. So then you build on and you say, did you do all of the correct things for that specific individual skill? And then on top of that is what's called grade of execution, and it's how nice the executed skill was clearly done. So we're kind of looking from the base of that pyramid all the way up, and so it really depends on where the athlete is in that process.
You said callable. Did I understand that right? What is call? You said you want to be callable. What does that mean?
Was it qualable? Like qualify?
Yeah.
Like what was the
callable, term? Like a phone call. Callable.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Callable.
Yeah. So what? How do you be callable? I guess you could say. Is what I'm asking as a hockey coach.
Yeah. So you're given specific criteria. So we can use, say, a jump, for example, and you have to have a certain edge that you're on before you take off. You can only have a certain amount of rotation on the ice before you leave the ice. You have to have a specific amount of rotation in the air prior to landing, and then you have to have a certain angle and edge that you land on coming out of the jump.
So it's like all the mandatory check boxes.
You have to do all of those things.
Gotcha.
Yes, all of the mandatory check boxes, and if you do them all, then your jump was callable.
Gotcha, and then that's where you get your
if you're
score.
Trying to do a double axel and you do it correctly, then they call it, and they say, yes, you did a double axel. If you under rotate it, then they'll say you did a double axel with a downgrade, and you did not get it called.
Gotcha.
So it's just based on the number of points that you get on the technical side.
When you did that video review through On Call Coaches for the figure skater that sent you one, you had said that she was trying to do one type of jump, but because she was on the wrong edge, it was like a flip and a Lutz, if I remember correctly. And you had a term that combined those two, like a flutz is what you called it, because it was a mess up.
Technical term.
Yeah. So is that kind of what you're talking about there, based on the edges?
Exactly. So a Lutz, you have to take off of a back, if you're a right-handed skater, a left back outside edge. Your toe pick has to go in behind that leg, not out to the right. So it has to go directly behind your left back outside edge. And then as you rotate and pull up, your left back outside edge has to remain on a left back outside edge until it leaves the ice. And so what happens is people put their toe in while they're on the left back outside edge, and then they change their body lean over to the right, and they move to a left back inside edge, which is the takeoff for a flip. Gotcha. And so that would be a not callable Lutz. They'd call it a flip.
Okay. Now, I'm guessing with what you just said, slow motion is pretty important in video review for figure skating. Would I be correct in that assumption?
You're absolutely right, especially because in the judging of figure skating, the judges are allowed to rewatch video before they give you a call or not. So it does not have to be able to be noticed in real time. It has to be able to be noticed on video in a review. And so us being able to slow it down in the same way that judges get to rewatch is extremely helpful.
Nice. Now, for a player, I guess a skater in your world, how do they bring video into their training program? I guess is more what I'm asking. What part of the training program should they be utilizing? What should they be focused on in that video portion of their training? Because they're still going to have the on-ice training and their workouts and things like that. How do they bring video into their plan?
Using it to enhance choreography is a great place to start. So if you have choreography that your coach has given you and you're wanting to make sure that it reads out the same way that you're trying to get it to read to judges, it's a great way to get feedback from somebody who's maybe not seeing your choreography day to day. Another option is for getting your elements called. So making sure that in certain spin positions that your leg is the correct height or that your knee bend is low enough in a sit spin. Going through those lists of what it takes for each element to be callable is a great use of video review because you can slow it down and really pinpoint each of those items to make sure that you're getting your maximum points.
And then you had mentioned also that using on-call coaches to send videos of your team to another coach to review. I think that was a very interesting thing inside of figure skating to
expand on that.
And I've heard it now from other coaches. There's a lacrosse coach who was talking that, we're going to send our offensive plays over to this other coach and have them review it so we get input from other coaches that we may not play against or compete against. Yeah. So go ahead and explain how you're doing that with figure skating.
I think it's a sign of a good coach to be able to say, hey, here's what I'm really good at, and here's the line of where I know that somebody else is better than I am, and I'm willing to make that decision that for us to improve, we need somebody else to also look at this. And so we have to take a lot of videos since I both coach the team and skate. And so for me to be able to even review our own teams, I have to take a lot of videos. And I'm like, if I have these, I may as well be sending them to get other opinions from other coaches and then also from judging panels as well. So we're using on-call coaching to work with who we have as a consultant. Her name is Ashley Carlson, and she's a former Team USA coach as well.
Oh, awesome.
And so she and I have very complementary skill sets from a coaching staff perspective. And so it's nice to be able to send it to her and get a completely separate set of opinions and then take those back to our team to keep working it.
That's awesome. Now, Cam, last question for most people is the same. How much do you cost, and how much video do you recommend a player send in or a skater send in at what time?
Oh, good question. So for my minute, I believe that I'm set at $5 per minute. However, that in skating, it kind of does fluctuate a little bit because there are some pieces that, I could review a jump for an hour, right? And pick it apart and put it in slow motion and do the slow motion multiple times. And then there's portions of programs that take a little bit longer. And so there's a little bit of flux for when to send in a video.
How long should the videos be?
Have a question on something. Oh, how long should the videos be?
Yeah, like in hockey, I can get like 20-minute videos. And that's a lot of video to make a kid sit through. So, what is like the length of video?
I would say if you're wanting to send a full run through of your skating program, that's usually in the 2.5 minute range. And if you're doing something like that, then that's going to be more for a choreography type review and maybe some little bit of technical stuff. But if you're wanting to get really detailed feedback, sending a video of just a single element, so just a spin, just a single jump, in synchronized skating, just a single shape that you're doing with your team, and trying to get really detailed feedback.
So you might get a 10-second video sent over to you, but it might come back 7 minutes long back to the player because you're breaking it down so much with that. Am I getting that right?
Oh gosh, I think the first video that I sent back, I think it was a 1.5 minute video when it came to me, and I think it was 15 or 20 minutes.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
When I sent it
awesome.
back with
That's awesome.
a lot of detail.
Well, Cam, this has been awesome. One, I love all the inside stories about Coach Zane. I love that you told the entire world he's a black belt in karate. He hides that from us. Anything you'd like to tell the figure skaters out there that we didn't touch upon before we get out of here for the day?
Keep taking, TikTok and Instagram and all of those have kind of also revolutionized how many videos people are taking of themselves. And we've seen a huge uptick in when athletes take a video of their own skating and watch it back themselves, they can self-correct a lot. So keep taking videos of you doing your sport. It's really helpful, even if you don't submit it to somebody.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that, Cam. That's going to be a wrap for today's episode of On Call Coaches Podcast. I'm Coach Alex.
I'm Coach Zane.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Cam. Love you.
Thanks, Cam.